My name is Alex, and I had this buddy named Josiah. He was a great guy, and we had just graduated from high school in our small town. Josiah was an academic ace, always acing his classes, and his passion was to become a nurse. He had already applied to college and was excited about the journey ahead. As for me, I was still trying to figure out my path, so I decided to postpone college applications for another year. I genuinely supported Josiah's dreams and was proud of him, but deep down, I couldn't help feeling a little uneasy about him heading off to the big city for college. What if he met someone new? College girls were rumored to be quite the lookers, right? My mind wandered, envisioning him connecting with a classmate over shared interests, late-night study sessions, and perhaps even the accidental brush of hands. I knew I was overthinking things, so I kept these thoughts to myself. As far as Josiah knew, I was his biggest cheerleader. To add a twist to the tale, Josiah's father had some business trips lined up and wanted Josiah to accompany him. They were set to leave 2 weeks before college began, and Josiah wouldn't be back for a whole month. Wanting to be a supportive girlfriend and help him settle into his new life, I offered to unpack his belongings and set up his dorm room while he was away, ensuring he could dive straight into his college journey upon his return. One morning after Josiah had left, I made my way to the college dorm. Sleep had eluded me the previous night, my hair was refusing to cooperate, and I couldn't summon the energy for makeup. So, I threw on a hat, a hoodie, and some baggy jeans. I probably looked more like a guy in those clothes, but it didn't concern me much since my primary goal was to assist with the dorm setup, and blending in seemed like the easiest route to achieve that. The next day, I mustered up the courage to head to Josiah's dorm, fully prepared to have the dreaded breakup conversation. When he opened the door, he greeted me with a warm hug, and those words about missing me made me feel a pang of guilt. He even invited me inside, but I hesitated. Conversing with Charles in the room wasn't ideal, so I suggested we find a more private spot. Josiah agreed and mentioned he'd grab his jacket. As he stepped away from the door, my jaw practically hit the floor. There, in front of me, was Charles, passionately kissing another girl. My heart felt like it had just plummeted into my stomach. Who was this girl? I was utterly bewildered and hurt, standing there feeling betrayed, while Josiah appeared oblivious to the situation. He casually apologized to them for the interruption, saying he'd retrieve his jacket and then they could go. Charles responded nonchalantly, showing no acknowledgement of my presence. I followed Josiah to a nearby coffee shop, my mind spinning in confusion. I couldn't wrap my head around it. I had no idea Charles had a girlfriend. All those texts, family secrets, and flirting had left me utterly perplexed. I felt like I was stuck in a maze of mixed signals and conflicting emotions. That night, sleep eluded me, and I found myself texting Charles. I wanted to confront him about my feelings, but saying something like, "I thought you liked me, and I almost broke up with my boyfriend for you," sounded like a recipe for disaster. So instead, I typed out, "Your girlfriend is really cute. How about we go on a double date to get to know her better?" His response took what felt like an eternity, leaving me in agonizing suspense. When his reply finally came, it felt like a bucket of cold water had been thrown in my face. Had I imagined the entire thing? Was it all just a figment of my imagination? The following morning, I decided to put on my absolute best outfit. I knew I looked fantastic, and I couldn't help but anticipate Charles's reaction. As I strutted down the dorm hallway, I noticed the guys glancing my way and grinning. Little did Charles know what he was in for, I thought to myself. When I entered the room, both of them appeared a bit taken aback. "Wow," Josiah remarked. "What's the special occasion?" "You look amazing, babe." I flashed a smile at him and gave him a kiss, intentionally ignoring Charles. "I always do, babe," I replied coyly. "I'm just going to take a quick shower," Josiah announced with a grin before leaving the room, leaving Charles and me alone. Charles spoke up, saying, "Wow, you look really great." I responded airily, still avoiding eye contact. I know. There was a moment of silence before Charles asked, "Are you upset or something? Why are you talking to me like that?" I responded nonchalantly, hoping it would provoke a reaction. To my surprise, he simply shrugged and said, "Okay, I just thought you sounded a little off today, but whatever." I couldn't hold back any longer. In a burst of frustration, I started yelling at him, "What is wrong with you? You flirted with me, shared all your family problems, and never mentioned having a girlfriend. You texted me nearly every day, and I nearly broke up with my boyfriend because of you. And now you act like it's no big deal and claim I'm the one acting weird." Charles appeared shocked as he responded, "I thought we had something special too. I have feelings for you. Seeing you with Josiah all the time is driving me crazy. I didn't think you felt the same way, so I considered moving on and dating someone else. I couldn't contain my emotions any longer and threw myself into his arms, confessing, I really like you. I hoped you felt the same way, and I was so jealous when I saw you with that girl. We shared a passionate kiss that felt utterly right until Josiah abruptly returned, snapping us back to reality. What in the world is going on here? He erupted, and both of us stared back at him, lost for words. After a moment of confusion, we finally sat down, and I began to explain everything, my voice trembling as I recounted the tangled situation. I couldn't bring myself to meet Josiah's eyes. Josiah had every right to be angry with both of us, and I couldn't help but feel terrible about the whole situation. Sometimes, people can't control who they develop feelings for, and it had become evident that Josiah and I were not meant to be together. As much as I regretted causing him pain, I couldn't deny the undeniable connection I shared with Charles. Charles and I are now a couple, and we're incredibly happy together. Josiah has been trying to come to terms with it, and I can't help but feel awkward whenever we cross paths. It's a complicated situation, seeing his ex-girlfriend now with his former roommate and boyfriend. While I still empathize with Josiah's feelings, I'm undeniably thrilled to be with Charles. He embodies everything I've ever wanted in a guy, and the depth of my emotions for him far surpasses anything I ever felt during my time with Josiah. In the next semester, Charles will be relocating to another dorm, which is quite far from Josiah's, alleviating some of the tension between us. Despite the complications and challenges, Charles and I are determined to make our relationship work and find happiness together.